Yes, a green arrow. With the 12th game week of the season completed, let's take a look at how my team performed and my initial thoughts for game week 13. Ahead of game week 12, I exchanged Mitrovic with West Ham striker ARNAUTOVIC. In addition, with the news that Maddison was out with a knee injury, I took a -4 hit and traded him with West Ham midfielder EDERSON. For game week 12, I got 69 points, 21 points above the average, improving my ranking by 150,000 places. In the My FPL Strategy League, my position has 2 improved. Shout to Fabian Garcia, who has retained his top spot for the second week running. Now let's take a look at how my team performed and my initial thoughts for game week 13. City conceded from the penalty spot in the 3-1 victory against Manchester United. For the second consecutive week, City conceded a needless penalty due to Ederson's rash decision in what should have been an easy clean sheet. At the end, Ederson only returned 2 points per match appearance. City travelled to West Ham next, a decent fixture on paper. Despite City conceding a goal in the last 2 matches, they still joint top with Liverpool for the most clean sheets this season. The Reds recorded a 7th clean sheet of the season, beating Fulham 2-0. Robertson had a stellar performance. His work rate on and off the ball was second to none. He was particularly outstanding in the second half, driving forward at every opportunity down the left flank. He set up Sergio with an inch-perfect cross for Liverpool's second, and at the end his over display was enough to earn him all 3 additional bonus points, returning 12 points in total. Liverpool play Watford next, a decent fixture on paper. In the last meeting between the two, the Reds have scored 5 goals with no reply, thus Robertson's starting spot in my team remains firmly intact. Hullabaz comes to the rescue, salvaging a 1-1 draw against Southampton. In all honesty, Hullabaz wasn't having the best of games, but despite the below par performance, the left back redeemed himself with a late strike, scoring his 2nd goal of the season, and at the end the Greek international returned a welcome 8 points. Watford welcome Liverpool next, a tough fixture on paper. Hullabaz has now directly been involved in more Premier League goals this season than any other defender, with 2 goals and 4 assists. But despite what the stat says, it's unlikely I will start him for game week 13. City had too much for United in the 3-1 victory at the Etihad Stadium. Mendy was not up to his usual standards, only recording 1 attempted assist. He still looks to be working his way back to form, but similar to last week, he could have easily registered a clean sheet if it wasn't for Ederson's rash decision. At the end, the French left back only returned 2 points per match appearance. City's next 3 fixtures are decent on paper before they play a tough away match against Chelsea. I'm still comfortable in having Mendy in my team, and I'm hoping for the next 3 matches he can deliver some attacking returns. Anderson denies Huddersfield a win in a 1-1 draw at Kirklees Stadium. In all fairness, Anderson's display wasn't the best. His poor back pass in the first half triggered the mistakes for Huddersfield's opening goal. But despite the below par performance, with less than 20 minutes to go, the Brazilian strike was enough to earn the Hammers a draw. In addition, his equalising goal earned the midfielder 2 additional bonus points, returning a solid 9 points. West Ham welcome Man City next, a tough fixture on paper. In the last 2 encounters between the 2 clubs, City scored a total of 6 goals, West Ham only scoring 1 in each game. But with Pellegrini returning to his old club, could this match be a history in the making? Newcastle makes it 3 games unbeaten, beating Bournemouth 2 goals to 1. Kenedy showed a hard-working display, linking up well with some good passing, as well as when called upon helping the defence with some key clearance. He set up Newcastle's second with a beautiful inch-perfect cross 5 minutes before half-time, and at the end the Wenger returned a respectable 6 points, not bad for 4.9 mil. Newcastle travelled to first Burnley next, a desirable fixture on paper. Burnley have failed to win a Premier League game in 5 whilst conceding 15 goals in total, whereas Newcastle have won the last 2 matches. The last time the Magpies won 2 consecutive Premier League matches, they went on to win the next 4 games. For the first time this season, Chelsea failed to score at Stamford Bridge in a goalless draw against Everton. In the first half, Hazard struggled to impact the game in the final third, the Belgian international constantly dropping deep to retrieve the ball. His performance did improve in the second half, recording 3 attempts on goal, but at the end Hazard only returned 3 points. Chelsea travelled to face Spurs next, a tough fixture on paper. In the 10 Premier League meetings Hazard has played against Spurs, the Belgian international has scored 4 goals with 2 assists. Salah scores in a 2-0 win against Fulham. I guess nothing's more consistent than Salah scoring at Anfield. The Egyptian was easily Liverpool's biggest threat, recording 4 attempts on goal. His quick feet and pace caused the defenders problems and was evident when the Egyptian broke free to score Liverpool's opener. Once again, his overall performance wasn't enough to earn any additional bonus points, but as my captain, the star may return a respectable 12 points. Salah's up against Watford next, a decent fixture on paper. In the last meeting between the two, Salah scored a hat-trick. Could this be the fixture where Salah scores big? ARNAUTOVIC blank in a 1-1 draw against Huddersfield. ARNAUTOVIC had a frustrating game. He should have really scored early on in the first half but was denied by the keeper. A game where the striker had limited supply to thrive on meant the Serbian frequently dropped back to receive the ball. At the end, the Austrian international only returned 2 points per match appearance. Despite the home game against City, West Ham have a good run of fixtures. There's ARNAUTOVIC's second striker spot in my team remains firmly intact. Bournemouth suffered their first away defeat in 8, losing 2-1 against Newcastle. Wilson had a disappointing game. He struggled to impact the game in the final third, only recording a single attempt on goal. At the end, the striker only returned 2 points per match appearance. Bournemouth embark a tough run of fixtures, facing Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool in the next 4. Thus, despite Wilson's good run of form, I'm planning to transfer the Englishman out. However, I'm happy to keep him for the next game against Arsenal, considering the fact Arsenal is yet to keep a clean sheet away from home this season. AGUERO has scored the most goals in Manchester derbies thanks to his second half strike at Etihad Stadium. In all fairness, in front of goal, AGUERO had a relatively quiet game, played a little too deep for my liking. Nevertheless, when called upon, the Argentina's finish for City second was simply world class. A player who never disappoints on the big occasions. AGUERO is up against West Ham next, a decent fixture on paper. On current form, AGUERO looks like he can score against anyone. So moving on to my transfer thoughts for Game Week 13. With the international break upon us, nothing yet is certain, but my initial thinking is to exchange Holebas with Dunk from Brighton. The centre back has returned 5 points or more in the last 5 fixtures. With a small ownership of 2.7% and comparing Brighton's next 4 fixtures with Watford, on paper exchanging Holebas to Dunk feels like a safe bet. But with the breaking news that Mendy has pulled out the French squad with a knee injury, my next transfer move is still under review. I guess I still got time to contemplate. And that's all from me today guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.